Hey, everybody, this is Teddy,
And this is Maya,
and welcome to the podcast Every Day I Do.
because I do is more than one day.
So, today we're going to be talking about something interesting. And so, we're going to be talking about habits or rhythms in your marriage
And in your household.
and in your household. We want to preface this by saying this is not a weird new age type thing. There's rhythms in every area of your life.
There's built-in rhythms
Absolutely.
to all kinds of things.
There's circadian rhythms. There's natural rhythms.
Even your heartbeat is a rhythm.
Absolutely. So we're not getting into any kind of weird new agey type thing here. We're just going to talk about what it looks like in our home when to have rhythms.
Rhythms, routines is another way of saying it. That's more kind of what we're talking about.
So the rhythm is going to get you.
The rhythm is going to get you.
All right. So one of the things that we do is, as a family, we're busy. I have work.
We kind of live by our calendar.
Absolutely. And our calendar actually you can look at our calendar and you can see consistency week over week of everything that we do. And that in and of itself is a rhythm.
Yeah, I think some of how we have, I don't know, it's like how we've come to be in life. I don't think it was always this way. This is probably something that maybe as we've had kids and the kids have gotten older that we've established a lot of these routines, because we realized that having routines and rhythms in our house is what makes our house run better and is more, I don't know, it just feels easier.
Yeah. I like that. I like how we know what to expect week over week.
And our kids know what to expect.
Exactly. And so, that, I have a work rhythm. I go to work on certain days.
Yeah.
And on those days, I'm not going to be making dinner.
Right.
Or
we have, it's like when we look at our calendar, we have our days off, and we kind of know what happens on those days. And then we have work days, which for me are homeschool days when Teddy's working. And so we know what's going to happen on those days. And so we kind of set ourselves up to just know how the household is running. And I think it's important because if I'm gone for some reason, you know the routine of what's happening. And like you said, Teddy actually makes a lot of the food in our house. But on the days that he's working long days, then I already know, like, oh, this is what we have prepared or what planned. And since we planned it in advance, we know like what we're going to have for dinner, even whether you're cooking it or I'm cooking it.
Absolutely.
Someday one of our kids will be cooking it.
Yes.
Penny, that day. Probably Penny.
So when we first got married, we didn't really have a rhythm. I mean, I was working, you were working, and
we didn't have kids.
And so
our rhythm was, we like to go out to eat. Yep. We like to go to movies. Yep. And we slept a lot. We traveled, all those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say absolutely a lot.
You do.
I don't know why. Absolutely.
It's a fill-in word.
Yeah.
I say like a lot. And I've noticed since we started doing this podcast, I've noticed.
And I say a lot.
And indeed. These are all rhythms. It's rhythms. It's how we speak. Routines, habits.
But we got into a rhythm quickly.
We did.
And we went to church. That was part of our Sunday and Wednesday routine.
We worked, and then we knew, like, weekends, we kind of had, like
we worked in the bus ministry.
We had ministries we did. We, like, every Friday night, or every Saturday night, we had friends over, and we would make food and play games, and so that was for a long time, that was a huge part of our rhythm early on, our first couple years. Even after we had Savannah, we still did that.
So after we had kids, then of course it changed everything.
It did.
I mean, it changed your sleep rhythm for sure.
Forever. I will never sleep again. I remember how well I used to sleep, and I never sleep the same after having kids. It's funny because, when we had Savannah, it was like, I'd get up to feed her and take care of her. And then now she's 20. And even last night I was up at 1 o'clock in the morning, just like when she was an infant, because she was coming home from work and I just wanted to make sure she was home safe. And so, yeah, having kids, it changes your rhythm.
It really does. And then we had a second child, I mean, Savannah was already older by that
Well,
time.
so let's talk about that because Savannah was an only child for 9 years. So our rhythm, oh, I remember this so clearly before Declan was born. Savannah was in fourth grade, I think, and her and I had this fantastic rhythm. Do you remember what it was? I was homeschooling, and we would do school at night for a couple hours, and then her and I would sleep till like 10 o'clock every day. And it's our natural rhythm. Her and I are both very much night owls. And so we love to stay up late and we love to sleep late.
And
And that was our rhythm.
I'm a morning person. So I would be up early in the morning. I'd make my own breakfast of bacon and eggs.
Yep.
And go to work. I'd be at work by 7 a.m.
Yep. And then you would come home for lunch at like 10:30 and we'd just be getting up.
I remember that very well.
But then Declan came in and he messed up that whole rhythm of our life. And it was a wonderful mess up. I would never change it. But he's a lot more like Teddy. His natural rhythm at that time was waking up early. He was an early riser.
Yeah.
And so I remember that my whole life was like turned upside down when he was born.
Because I was still going into the office, and you would be waking up when he'd wake up.
When Savannah would get up too. And so we just had to find a new rhythm. And then things changed and Savannah started going to school. And so that changed our routine. Like then we had to go to bed at a good time and wake up at a good time. But I think through all of that, now even looking back, we see how sometimes life dictates your routines. But then what happens is we get busy.
Yes. And then the busyness
takes over.
I mean, when Savannah got into 8th grade, then I started driving her to school every day.
Yeah. Well, that was a sweet routine.
It was a sweet routine. It was just time that we'd have together. And then I'd be there to pick her up after school.
Yep. And you had that for several years because
my schedule allowed that.
Yeah, your schedule allowed it. And it was up until she started driving that you would take her to school. And so, I mean, when you think about those days, it's probably very sweet listening to music and
just chatting.
Yeah.
And hearing all the things that kids were saying those days.
Yeah.
Which are different even nowadays.
It is. But you know what's neat about, I think you don't always know when you're in that rhythm or routine, is that those things are creating these memories that are like embedded in your brain. Because if you only took her to school like once or twice, you would probably remember that. You'd have a memory of it. But it's those like day after day, year after year that like really solidified those feelings.
Absolutely.
It's so beautiful.
I just love looking back and remembering those. And I even miss having that kind of a rhythm. Yeah. And then so when she started driving herself, then I was working from home, and then you would take the kids to school in the morning, and then we haven't even brought Penny into the conversation.
Yeah, but our whole rhythm changed again because it was like, so then when Penny was born, adding a third kid, and that's when Declan was going to preschool. And so then, it was like getting up early, taking the kids to school, getting them settled. I think one of the things when you have small kids that I do not miss at all, and it is one of your rhythms that it's a natural rhythm, is nap time. Because I, as a mom, and I'm sure a lot of moms can relate, you're slave to the nap. And Penny was one that she wanted I think all of our kids really liked their crib and their space. And so it was like, if it was nap time, I had to be home. So, a lot of times we were just home during nap time, and, that was part of our rhythm at that. But I don't miss it because I like the freedom of being able to go places now.
Did you nap when she napped?
I did not. I'm not a napper.
Not at all?
No. I can't nap because it just messes me up. But the only time I know that I can nap is when you're home and there's nothing going on. I don't feel like I have to do anything. And then I can like finally relax and take a nap.
Yeah.
But it's not very often.
Like all the laundry is done.
I know. Yeah.
Which is a whole other rhythm.
Yes.
So getting into when both of the kids were in school and preschool, you would take them both in the morning.
Yeah.
And you were working a little bit at that time at a bookstore. And then I would pick them up in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes take them to 7-Eleven, get a little treat.
And they really looked forward to that. You know what else during that season when they were in school is that you and I had a new rhythm. do you remember what we'd do when the kids left for school? We'd at the dining room table, we had puzzles. And so it was like every day we had a puzzle out on the dining room table, and we'd put a podcast on or music, and we would just have some time together. We'd do puzzles. It was, but it probably wasn't a super long time, maybe like a school year about. But that was a really sweet time. But the rhythm of what we had created, like I said, brings us those sweet memories.
Yes. And then the rhythm changed again.
Yeah.
During COVID.
Oh boy. And that was different.
We
were all home.
Yep.
And we had to figure out a new rhythm because we were all together all the time.
Yeah. Savannah still had to do school.
She did. And you had to do a lot of yard work.
Mm-hmm.
No, you got to do.
I got to do a lot of yard work. Yep.
That was fun.
That was fun. And we still did puzzles.
We did puzzles.
Every day, President Trump would do a speech at noon. And so we would listen to that speech while doing a puzzle.
We would. That's so funny. And then we played a lot of games. Remember? We played like a lot of family games.
A lot of family games. And so we moved from Washington to Texas, and that changed everything.
Yeah, our rhythms all changed. We had to find new rhythms.
Yep.
But I think now we've lived here over a year, and I think we've kind of settled into some new routines, and our kids are a little bit older, and so that's kind of where we're coming to today, just talking about like our household routines. If this is maybe helpful to those that have younger kids or are feeling a little chaotic or a little off, what has helped us is having these routines of how we know knowing what to expect. And so tell them a little bit about our routine.
But for the most part, the kids have a certain amount of time to play on devices, iPads or iPhone, playing Minecraft or whatnot.
And before they get to that, there's some things they have to do.
Yeah, they have to do their chores. They have to do their schooling because we homeschool. Mm-hmm. And it's a certain time of day when they have ability to get their devices.
Yeah, so they know what to expect. Yeah. When they get up in the morning, they know they're not going to ask to get on devices because they know there's things that have to happen. But these rhythms that we put into place have gotten us to a place where they know not to ask to get on the iPad or the phone.
And then when it's dinner time, they know that they can't have a device while they're eating. Mm-hmm. And then at like 8 o'clock is when there's no devices. All devices are off, and it's family time.
Yep.
And so we hang out for a couple hours doing whatever we want to do. And they know at 9:45 it's time to what we call do your checks.
They do their checks.
They brush their teeth, check. Uh-huh. They clean up after the dog, check. That's why we call it checks.
Pick up all their toys and
any messes,
clothes, messers. Usually there's a lot. Check.
And they do it, and they do it without complaining because they know what to expect. It's part of the rhythm of their day. At 10 o'clock, it's time to be in bed.
Yep. And so they give us hugs and kisses, and sometimes they put it off a little bit, but they know it's bedtime.
Yeah.
And they go off and they go to bed. But so we have like morning checks and evening checks. And so I was telling a friend yesterday about how for Penny, because she can't read really well yet, we printed off pictures that represent all of her morning chores. And it's not just chores, it's things she has to do in the morning. And so there's a picture of a dog and the bowl because she has to feed our dog and give her water. And then she has to take her morning medicine for her thyroid. And then she has to, I don't know, there's probably like 7 pictures. And so later, after we're done with school, we'll always say, did you guys do all your chores? And they know that list, Declan has a list, and they know like if those things aren't checked off. And you know what it helps so much with us is those things are things off our plate. I don't have to think about giving our dog her vitamins because I know that's Declan's chore. So all I have to do is say, did you do your chores? And if he says yes, I'm going to know that he did that.
Yeah.
And do you pick up dog poop?
Nope. Ever since we've had our dog, I haven't had to pick up poop at all because that's his job.
Yep.
It's part of his chores.
And one of my other ones that I love is he cleans out our cars of like trash and all the stuff.
Because it's their trash.
It is their trash for the most part. But these are things that obviously it's teaching them responsibility, excellence. We're really working on our son with learning excellence, like not just doing it halfway.
Yeah. Like if I find a straw wrapper that he didn't get, then I tell him, hey, I found a straw wrapper. You should probably go take care of that. And I don't do it for him.
Yeah.
Because we want him to know that he has to follow through. If he didn't do a job right, he needs to learn that it has to be done with excellence. So you had a friend who was having a little bit of a hard time with their kids. You want to talk a little bit about that, like the bedtime routine?
Yeah. So that is definitely one thing we worked hard at, I think, because bedtime can be challenging. There's a lot to do. And we homeschool, so it's a little bit easier. But if you have kids in school, it can even be more because you have homework, you have dinner, you have showers or baths. A lot of times you have sports or lessons. There's just a lot to do in the evening, and it's not a lot of time. And so I was telling a friend of mine that finding a rhythm for your house or a routine is what helps. It helps keep your family in order, and it doesn't feel so chaotic. And those rhythms can look different for everyone. Obviously, we all have different things going on. So it's not like my routine is going to work for her.
That's right.
And because we have different amounts of kids, they're different ages, different temperaments. And so I think just finding that routine that works for your family, and you have to try it for a while.
You do.
It's not something that you just try like 2 times and be like, that doesn't work. They're not listening.
You have to find the right one for you and for your family, for your kids.
And consistency is key, I think. It's doing it day after day after day after week after month after.
And being intentional.
Year. Yeah, I love that word.
You have to be intentional about everything that you do in your family. If you want to know really how to do these things, it's trial and error. We didn't have a model to go off of for our rhythms, for how we did things.
No.
We had to figure it out for ourselves. Some things worked, some things didn't.
Well, and all of our kids are different temperaments and are motivated by different things. And that's the other thing is you have to find what motivates that particular child. I'm not saying bribe. I'm not beyond bribing. We have definitely bribed our kids. But I don't think a daily bribe is the way to go. But there are definite motivations. Some kids are motivated by just words of affirmation. Some kids are motivated by money or gifts, So maybe finding your kid's love language is the way to go because then you can, kind of go from there and see what motivates them. But I think finding motivation and then us as parents being consistent, because if we relied on the kids to be consistent, that wouldn't work.
So one of the things that we like to make sure that we do on this podcast is that we always want to bring things into a biblical perspective. And so the Bible doesn't use modern words like habits or rhythms, but it does have a lot to say about living with intention, consistency, and spiritual order.
So the first thing that we kind of saw in the Bible is in Genesis 2:2. It says, by the 7th day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the 7th day, he rested from all his work. And so one of the rhythms that I think is really important is a rhythm of work and rest. And I think we as Americans, we know how to work. We don't stop. We just go, 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 go. And it's always doing stuff. But God showed us that rest. I don't think God needed rest. He was showing us something here.
Yes. In other words, he just stopped working. And, he just saw that everything was good. And he just stopped creating.
Yeah. And sometimes that's what we have to do is just stop. Even if our job, because we're human, he's God. Yep. But if our job, whatever it is, like we just take a day of rest and it's okay. The world will go on.
Yes, absolutely. So you need to have that balance of work and rest. I mean, work 6 days and you have a day of rest. He called it the Sabbath.
I have a friend who right now they're trying to incorporate a day of rest and a Sabbath. A Sabbath just means day of rest. So they're working on incorporating that. But part of the challenge is that she has to feed her family.
Yeah.
And if you have more than, just you and your husband, feeding one child or 4 children is a lot. It's like a full-time job.
Yep.
That's like literally all I do all day is feed children. And so what she was realizing, the challenge of having a Sabbath was she had to prepare so much the day before to have all the food ready for the day of rest that it was a lot more work. So she hasn't quite figured it out, but she's getting there.
So, and it's good that that as a family that we all have those intentional pauses. Yeah, with my schedule, I'm able to be off on Mondays.
Mondays, yeah.
And so we do stuff on those days.
That's kind of our day of rest. Like
yeah.
we still have stuff we have to do, but it's not like we're not just work.
Right. Absolutely.
We find a way to rest.
So we need to honor the boundaries in life and family. I mean, if work, it takes up all of your time, something's going to suffer. And a lot of times it's going to be your family.
Yeah.
So be intentional about having that balance of work and life.
It's funny because now that you say that, it made me think about our kids, how we have, like, they have to do all these things. They do their chores, they do their schoolwork, and then they have some downtime to, like, be entertainment, whatever. And it was just making me think, like, we are teaching our children work and rest.
Yeah.
Like, they do homework, they do their schoolwork, they do their chores, and then they get time to rest. But you have to have both. You can't just play games all the time.
That's right.
Either. Yeah. Can't just rest all the time.
Right.
That's lazy.
Yeah. That's slow.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's having that balance.
Yes. Another thing is having a daily devotion. So Deuteronomy 6, verses 6-7 says, "These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up." So this is talking about having, again, intentionality in having a daily devotion. It describes a daily rhythm of teaching and remembering.
It's so good. I love that. A daily time of teaching and remembering.
And it shows how faith can be woven into ordinary routines. Meals, walks, bedtimes, mornings. They're becoming habits that shape hearts over time. Our kids know before we eat, we pray.
We thank the Lord for our food.
Yep.
One of the things I've started with the kids recently is just a habit of gratitude. And so we'll just stop and I'll be like, "Okay, kids, tell me 3 things you're thankful for." And I'm like, it can be anything. One day I was like, I'm thankful for toilet paper, pillows, and my bed. They laughed. But it's just showing, just if you get in a routine of being thankful, then you're going to look for things to be thankful for. And so, yeah, it's just in the little things.
So spending time with God is going to be a very important part of your rhythm. When I get up in the morning, I start praying while I'm getting ready. And then after, while the coffee's brewing, then I'm doing my daily Bible reading. And so that's a rhythm, that I don't miss day over day.
Yeah. I was just telling Teddy a couple of days ago how, like, my body sometimes is like, "No, stay in bed. Don't get up. You don't have to read your Bible." And I really want to read my Bible. I love reading my Bible. But sometimes my body's just like, "No, don't do it." And so it's that fight to do it. But that's part of, if you're in a routine or rhythm, you will be more likely to get up and do it because it's part of your natural routine. And so I have a spot that I like to sit at. I have a recliner and I like to sit there and turn on the lamp and get my blanket and my Bible and my coffee. I love that routine.
That's a good routine.
I wish I had a lot of time to do it every single day. Some days it's a lot more rushed than that, but on the days that I have time, I like to sit and drink my coffee and read my Bible.
Yeah, sometimes you get up and you get ready and you're out the door.
I know.
With the kids.
I don't like those days as much.
So the next one is prioritizing consistency over busyness. So 1 Corinthians 14:40 says, "Let all things be done decently and in order."
God values order and peace over chaos.
Yes, he does.
And we don't want to live in chaos. I don't want to live in chaos.
So this verse encourages, again, intentional structure, setting priorities, routines, and patterns that promote spiritual and emotional stability in home. You have to be intentional. Again, like we've been saying that word a lot in this podcast, is being intentional. You have to be intentional about setting those priorities. What really matters in your life?
Yeah.
Your marriage. Well, I mean, first of all, your relationship with God. That should be your first.
So how are you prioritizing that?
By spending time with Him.
Are you giving Him some time, praying, reading His word,
Yep.
worshiping Him?
Yeah, spending time in worship. And then your next one is your family. Your spouse is actually the next one. Yeah.
Are you spending time having conversation, connecting? It doesn't even have to be like, first thing in the morning, but just throughout your day, are you texting each other, checking in with each other? Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, how's your day going? Did the doctor appointment go, or, just.
And if you know the routines, then you kind of know, like, oh, you were at Bible study. How was that? Or you were here. How was that? Because you're checking in on each other's routines. And then with the kids, the same. If we know, Penny has piano lessons, or Declan has soccer, Savannah has a big assignment due. If you've been checking in on the rhythms of who's doing what, then you can connect with them.
Absolutely. Sometimes I get so busy at work that I forget to do that.
And they miss that. Like, I know that they miss that from you specifically. So I think that's a good reminder. So the next one that we want to talk about is seeking God regularly. And this is different than like our daily devotional time, because this has more to do with like the relationship you have. So in Isaiah 50 verse 4, it says, "Morning by morning he wakens me and opens my understanding to his will." And so this is a rhythm of meeting with God daily. This is talking to him daily, praying. And so that's one of our routines that we've really started prioritizing, is praying together daily.
Every night.
And, sometimes we're tired. Sometimes it's been a long day. Sometimes we've had a lot going on. But what do?
We pray.
We pray.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a couple minutes. Sometimes we pray a long time. We don't realize.
Yeah. Because once we start, it's so sweet.
Yes. Like last night, I didn't realize that we had prayed for so long.
Yeah. And it's just beautiful. I love it. Sometimes I'm so tired when we start praying, and then I literally feel myself just relax and get into this like rhythm of praying, truly, where I just like want to keep going. And I think that's why sometimes it ends up being a long time.
So Psalms 5:3 says, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly." So it's important, not only are you praying to God, but you're listening for his voice. Sometimes you don't need to do all the talking.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Like God is going to say, hey, it's, just listening for that still small voice.
It's being contemplative, because sometimes I'll read my Bible so fast and I'm like, oh, I've read this before, and I don't like actually think about what I'm reading. And sometimes when I slow down and just kind of sit with it, then that's when the Holy Spirit reveals something to me. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even see that there. Yeah. Where did that come from?
It's a reflection.
It is.
The reflecting of what you just read or what you just prayed. Because a lot of times, well, every time that you pray, you're not praying really for God to do something. Is that you're praying for God to change you.
Yeah.
Change your attitude about something. Change your viewpoint about something.
Yeah.
Change the way that you do something. And
that's actually been something God's revealed to me recently, is just what my heart attitude is. And it's like constantly, every time I read the word, it goes back to that same thing. So I know he's doing something in me, but if I wasn't in this routine of seeking him, how would I even know that that's what he's trying to do?
Yeah, that's right.
What's wonderful about this is that these daily habits will keep our family's focus anchored on his guidance.
I love that.
And so when you and I we do our separate devotional, but when we're consistent, then it anchors our family. It's so beautiful.
And I love that our kids actually see us doing our daily devotion. I mean, they see you sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
And
they know I'm reading my Bible.
Yes. And when I'm getting ready, I have it on audio. And they know that I'm listening to the Bible. And so they know that it's normal.
Yeah.
They see.
That reminds me, because the other day Penny, remember, she was asking some questions about, she was doing a coloring sheet from it was like a Bible coloring book, and she had pulled out a sheet and it was about the Good Samaritan, and he was like laying on the ground and the priest was walking by in the coloring sheet, and she was like, "Mama, what is this guy doing?" And so I was telling her about the story and what it meant, but it's like she's so inquisitive, and she knows that she can come to us and ask. Like, she knows we're in the Bible, but she knows it was a Bible story. Yeah. So it was cool. She came to us
that's very cool,
to clear it up. The last one we want to talk about is learning self-discipline. And this actually goes with all of them, because a disciplined life is what's going to actually create habits in your life.
Yeah.
And so Proverbs 25:28 says, "A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls." And so we don't want to be people that are broken down walls. Anybody can get in, anything can get in. That's chaos to me, because you're just leaving your family open for whatever wants to penetrate your family life. I don't want anything. I don't want to just let anything in.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So when it comes to having these rhythms and these habits, you need to have self-discipline on yourself, because the kids can't follow you if you're not doing it yourself.
Right.
If you're just erratic and doing things on your own, the kids don't have a model to go follow after.
And kids love consistency.
They do.
All kids love consistency. They like knowing what to expect next. And I know when our kids don't know, that's when they feel insecure. They feel, like uncertain, and they want to know what's coming up. And so when you have these consistent habits and routines, then they don't have to guess.
And isn't that just how God is with us? I mean, we know the sun's going to rise every day because he made it that way. He knows that when we pray, he's going to answer. If that answer is yes, no, or I have something better in mind, we know that we can go to God for anything. And it's all part of this rhythm, this whole habit that we as Christians have. We know that when we read the Bible, he's going to reveal something to us, because he's so faithful, and trusting in him is the best thing that we've ever done in our life, the best thing we've ever done for our family.
It is. It is. So these are just some things that we, talked about, thought about. We know that obviously everything we do doesn't work for every family, like we said, but we just want to encourage you, find some routines that work for your family and that bring order, so that you're not living in chaos.
Yes. And in all things, give glory to God. Once you find that routine, thank God for helping you find that, and for him giving you the strength and the discipline to do it.
Absolutely.
So thank you, everybody, for joining this episode. Remember, if you have any prayer needs, don't hesitate to reach out to us at that email that we have at the bottom of the description of this episode.
Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.